Your gut health could be suffering and you might not even realize. But if you have any one of these 5 symptoms, then chances are something bad is brewing. That means that not only is your gut being impacted, but so is the rest of your body too, since the gut is the primary source of inflammation throughout the entire body. Number 1 is a coated tongue, especially in the back. If there's a thick white coating, this is so common. I see this all the time and people just think it's normal that you can just brush it off. But this is literally bacteria or fungi from your gut that is migrating up towards the mouth and accumulating on your tongue. Disgusting. This is often indicative of things like bacterial overgrowth or SIBO, small intestinal bacterial overgrowth. It can also be the result of candida, which is a fungus, or it can be the result of poor gut motility. Now, what you're gonna wanna do is look at this first thing in the morning when you wake up. Chances are you're gonna have something coated and now you know what is going on. Number 2 is water retention or puffiness, especially in the face, but it can be anywhere else in the body as well. A lot of times people think that they're overweight or they need to lose fat when they start looking puffy, but a lot of times it's actually just water weight. And that extra water weight, most of the time it's inflammation and estrogen, both of which really start in the gut. When you have bad bacteria in your gut and you have intestinal permeability or leaky gut going on, there's a lot of inflammation that goes on throughout the body. And what this inflammation can do in different parts of the body is it can impact the health of the blood vessels. So they can become permeable, and that basically causes fluid to leak into surrounding tissues, and that makes you watery. Estrogen is also known to promote water accumulation in different tissues, and the gut is one of the main sources of estrogen in your body. Basically, you're normally supposed to excrete estrogen through your bowels, but if your gut is not working properly, you're not excreting it, that estrogen can actually be reactivated and put back into circulation. Additionally, the inflammation coming from the gut can also impair your liver's ability to detoxify that estrogen. Okay, number 3 is stool abnormalities. Now, no one wants to talk about poop, but you're gonna have to look at your poop and talk about poop if you actually want to be healthy. There's the classic Bristol stool chart, which is very common to see. Type 3 or 4 is what you're gonna want to see. Type 1 or 2, you're probably looking at poor motility or magnesium deficiency. And type 5 to 7 is a much worse sign that typically means that there's a lot of inflammation or bacterial overgrowth going on, especially in your colon. Basically, it's a stress response from your body to flood the lumen of the colon with water and to increase the motility so you can get whatever bacteria is in there out. But it's not just limited to this. It could be all different types of things that's wrong with your stool. It could be colors that are different from brown. It could be blood. It could be undigested food. It could be a massive sense of urgency. It could be burning when it comes out. It could smell absolutely horrible. If you're having tons and tons of bowel movements every day, if you don't get that ghost wipe, anything like that that's out of the ordinary, chances are something is going horribly wrong in your gut and you're gonna wanna act on that as soon as possible. Okay, number 4 is foamy urine. This is super, super common. Everyone seems to have this and no one seems to realize that this is not normal. When you pee into the toilet, it should be like if you were to pour water into that toilet. It's not going to have foam. It's gonna splash and then it's gonna be water. If there's foam accumulating in your urine, that means that there's a number of soapy-like substances in there. Now, this can be the result of kidney disease or kidney damage because protein can leak into the urine when it's not supposed to. But a lot of times it's actually from the gut. So essentially what happens is you have bile acids in your gut, and if there's a lot of unconjugated bile acids from an excess of bacteria, these unconjugated bile acids can actually damage the lining of the gut. And then those bile acids will leak through into the blood and then they'll end up in your pee and it makes it soapy-like. In fact, this is one of the ways that you can actually measure if someone has SIBO, is that you can give them some of these bile acids and see if they show up in the urine. And if they do, then you probably have bacterial overgrowth. Number 5 is a crash after eating. Now, it's normal to be somewhat relaxed after you eat because your stress hormones come down. But what's not normal is to have this horrible crash, this brain fog after you eat, basically feeling like you need to take a nap just because you ate. Now, a lot of times what's happening here is that when you eat, if your gut is compromised, you'll have a lot of bacteria or endotoxin entering your blood, your circulation, and then that is causing inflammation systemically. That inflammation is worsening the generation of energy in your mitochondria, in your cells, and it's basically contributing to this brain fog, this sleepiness, which makes you feel like crap during the middle of the day. Now, this is especially bad if you have higher fat meals because fat can increase the absorption of that endotoxin into your blood. Something that can prevent it is actually fiber. So a lot of times if your gut is off, you won't tolerate fiber, but if you can tolerate insoluble type fibers that are not fermentable and they're not irritating to your gut, a lower fat, higher fiber meal can prevent that post-meal endotoxin absorption and crash. In fact, you can see this in people who have chronic fatigue syndrome. A lot of times they have leaky gut, they have all markers of intestinal permeability, and they can also be alleviated with antimicrobials or antibiotics. Now, chances are that you have at least one of these symptoms going on, and it is in your best interest to act now. We have tons of content both on here and on our Twitter and on our Instagram on how exactly to go about this. But if you want some personalized one-on-one help, click the link here or in the description. You can schedule a free call with us to learn more about how we can help you with not only your gut issues, but any other issues you have.